Scotland's midfielder that's captaining Aston Villa in a European final. Amazing for him. He mentioned the other night in the presser, John McGinn, when he signed, they were in the Championship, they were playing at Wigan and Rotherham and stuff like that. For them to be in a European final, and a lot of it's down to him. I mean, he's been their talisman. He's Aston Villa's all-time top European scorer now.
By the way, what about his performance against Nottingham Forest in the second leg?
Oh, brilliant. That goal.
I mean, and I'm watching that, and obviously through tartan tinted specs, you're looking at it going, oh, wow, this guy who's a real talisman for our side is right at the top of his game. Yeah. I think when we went to the Euros, his legs were buckling beneath him because he'd played so many games that season. He's had a little bit of an injury layoff this year, which should help because he hasn't put so many miles in the tank over the course of the campaign. And the performance he put on in that second leg against Nottingham Forest tells you physically he's in peak condition, but also in terms of his confidence, he's absolutely flying. That's the John McGinn I want to see going to a World Cup, because the John McGinn that went to the Euros last time, he did a funny dance and put on some lederhosen, and that was about it. He was nowhere near himself, and I love him to bits, and I hope that, but I'm sure that John McGinn would accept that himself. I want this John McGinn, this version of John McGinn. He looks as if he potentially could be a massive performer for Scotland on the biggest stage. You've got McTominay that's proven that he can do that. I really hope that Ben Gannon Doak is nearing the peak of his fitness after getting over the injury. I think we've got quite a lot to get excited about for this World Cup. And I think if John McGinn can go there tonight, Istanbul, lift a European trophy with Villa, wow. You know, you've got McTominay and Billy Gilmour that they've done what they've done at Napoli. You've got Andy Robertson, who's done what he's achieved at Liverpool. John McGinn, he goes and lifts a European trophy. I mean, this is serious, boys. We've got a good group.
Aye, absolutely. And go on, Scott.
Sorry, Dan, I was just going to say, but to do it as captain, Jack, yeah. I mean, we both know John McGinn, it couldn't happen to a nicer boy, more kind of down to earth boy. So I really hope he does it. And just to be a Scottish player captain in a side, lifting a European trophy. I mean, that puts him into, if he goes and does it, that's you up there with Graham Souness, Billy McNeil, John McGinn, people like that. I mean, there's not that many Scots have lifted a European trophy. So for him, when you look at his career and everything he's achieved, for him to go and do that, I think would be absolutely incredible. And I totally agree with Jacko. I mean, he's banging form. Looks totally different to when he went to the last Euros. I totally agree that that wee spell out injured he has, I know for a fact that it gave him that wee bit of respite. He was able to work his way back, and you're just praying. You're right. You're praying we get to the World Cup, and unlike the Euros, your McGinns and McTominays. I mentioned this the other week. Even Billy Gilmour's not played that amount. A great amount of football. Lewis Ferguson, as we touched on with Bill McMurdo the other week, has been in and out of the Bologna team. Andy Robertson in and out of the Liverpool team. I'm praying that we turn up at this World Cup and there's a real freshness to us. Gannon Doak has hardly played with Bournemouth. Ryan Christie's not played every week. And normally you'd think, that's a bad thing, guys on the plane. It's not that they've been dropped or they're out in the cold. They're all involved at their clubs and still big players. They've just not played the volume of games. And you need to hope and pray that's to our advantage.
We actually could have one of the freshest first 11s at the tournament because of that.
Hopefully,
so look, here's hope.
Patterson, Hickey, another couple haven't played a lot. They should be ready to go as well.
That's right.
Freiburg is who Aston Villa are playing tonight, and they are a decent team apparently, 7th in the Bundesliga. And every time people in the
they've never won a trophy.
Never won a trophy.
Domestically, European, they've never won a single trophy. I'm really hopeful, fingers crossed, for John McGinn tonight.
Me too. Just last thing, Scott, and a few people saying Scott, can't believe none of the so-called bigger teams have signed him. Every time I see McGinn put it in the top corner in the Premier League, playing in the Champions League as well, and we see captain at Villa at a European final, I always think, how did Celtic let him get away? How on earth that summer? How did they let him get away? Just madness.
Crazy. Listen, similar to, we've spoken about Rangers with Lewis Ferguson,
Aye,
and
aye.
even Lawrence Shankland. But you're right. I mean, back in the day, it was Celtic with, was it Stephen Fletcher and John McGinn? They should have signed at the time.
Yeah.
Couldn't get deals over the line, wouldn't pay the money, and must have lived to regret it, surely.
I'm sure it was the same summer. Neil Lennon's come out and said they had Ivan Toney in the training ground ready to sign, and it seems some of them going for again. They didn't get either. So